me about what is my hernia. So I've got I'll just read it out. It feels really positive from stories that I hear in the Facebook group. I'm also doing a live stream with Iqoro on their Instagram on the 21st of March at 10 a.m. Hello everyone! Hi guys, how is everybody? It's been a while since my last video, which I'm aware was last summer now, and I did say that I was going to do an update on my experience with Iqoro around the Christmas time, and there's two reasons it's a little bit delayed. Firstly, it was a little bit of a chaotic start to the year. I was in the Netherlands doing like a theatre thing, and then I did a one-man show, which was like, I just wanted to put all of my focus into that. As soon as it got a slot, I was like, I have to just do this 100%. And then, you know, life's got a little bit calmer now, which is great. So I've got time to do this video, and hopefully it's always something I want to do, more content for my YouTube, because with health anxiety, with hiatus hernia, with Iqoro now, and also like other stuff. And I've recently got kittens as well. So I was thinking maybe lots of stuff that I could pop onto my YouTube at some point. But this is my Iqoro 6-month-ish update. A reminder of why I'm taking Iqoro and why I'm using it. So I have a hiatus hernia. There's kind of like this juggle I've had for a while, and you might have seen it on some other videos as well, where it's kind of been, I'm on tablets, omeprazole PPIs, and do I want to be on these tablets forever? I'm in my 20s, so maybe if you're in your 50s or 60s and you get hiatus hernia, it's like, sure, fine. But the idea of taking these tablets forever, and then hearing loads of stories of side effects kind of is a little bit like, oh, do I want to do this? And then there's also this second option, which is surgery. And then it's like, my symptoms aren't bad enough for surgery though, and is taking tablets every day like enough to justify it? But then at the same time, maybe it is. So there's that sort of juggle. And then there's different kinds of surgeries, some more invasive, but some that isn't available with, on the NHS in England, which is the free service, so I'd have to pay for it. So there's sort of that juggle. And then Iqoro come as the third option. And I actually found out about it from a YouTube comment. And then the promise of Iqoro is basically the aim is to come off PPIs with a hiatus hernia, or if you've got bad acid reflux. And it's a simple 30-second, 3 times a day training where you basically put the device into your mouth, you kind of pull on it for 10 seconds, take a little break, 10 seconds, take a little break, 10 seconds. And the aim is that it's strengthening your esophagus and strengthening your muscle groups. And I've been taking it for this amount of time, yeah. But I think it only took me until a little bit later in the year to realise how to do the training most effectively. And I think for a while I was kind of like guessing how to do it, and there is some videos on the Iqoro website, so I think that's kind of like played a little bit into it, because you kind of get it, and like it's supposed to be really simple, and it is simple, like how to use the device, but there's this sense of like, is this really, like, it seems too easy, like, is this really helping? And I think just a few tweaks that I've done, I've felt like a difference, just in the sense that I can like feel it. I know it sounds a bit weird, but I can almost feel like something's happened after it. Like if I'm stood straight, for example, like I'm not hunched over, and if I really like pull as well, and really do put my lips more like together and closed. But there's loads of good advice in there. But I think that was the first thing. Like, I think it did take me, like, I realized, even though I've been doing it consistently for that long, I don't know if necessarily early on I was doing it exactly how I should do it. So I think I read somewhere, it takes about 21 days for something to be a habit. So for you to actually do it every single day, and it's 3 times a day. So for a while, I think what was happening is, I'd say for the last 3-4 months, I've consistently been doing it 3 times a day. And the goal is that we do it for 3 times a day until we get to a point then I think we can reduce it to once or twice a day and have it just at like this sustained level. So the aim is you train for a certain amount of time until you're at the point where your symptoms have gone and you don't need to take tablets. And then, or if you're not taking tablets, or your acid reflux is better. And then you can just take you can just do it maybe less, I think, from what I've understood. But obviously I'm not there yet. I'm still doing it 3 times a day. But what was happening early on, I think, especially just after I did my last update, and I went to the Netherlands because I was doing this theatre job sort of on and off for the latter half of the year. And I would take it in the morning and at night because that's, I was like, just before I brushed my teeth, I was doing it because when I brush my teeth, it feels really weird. Like to do it, almost like burns. So I always do it before I brush my teeth. And that was really easy to get in the habit of. But it was that middle one in the day, and especially because I was having shows in the day, there was about 2 or 3 days a week where I just forgot to do it. And then I was like quite annoyed. But then, and I was using that app as well. And there was some ways around that. For example, if I got in at 8, I could do it at 8 and then maybe still do it at 10 o'clock before bed. So I was still doing it the 3 times. And I was using the app, which I did find helpful for a little bit, but I've stopped using the app. I find it easier to remember to do it. And I know that sounds weird, but sometimes the app has glitches and it's like could not save. And then I'd go on it and be a bit confused about how many I've done in the day, if I'd already done it. And it kind of, I don't know, like it kind of just felt, and this sounds really stupid because it's an extra like 2 seconds, but it kind of felt like more of a chore because I'd have to have my phone with me, open the app, like start it and do it with that signal of the 10 seconds. And as well, I think for me, it takes me a couple of seconds to get into the device. So when I start with and it's like pull, I think it takes me 2 or 3 seconds to sit in position. Whereas on the timer, I wasn't quite getting it on time. And then maybe I wasn't doing it for the full 30 seconds. I don't know. That's how I kind of felt. And I feel like now I've stopped using the app, it's been more effective, and also like it's less of a chore. So I've been sticking to that 3 times a day more. And as I said, there was a few times where it did sort of glitch, and then it was a bit almost like demoralizing because I was like, have I done it like two, 3 times? Like you'd look back at the week and it would look, I thought I'd done it 3 times a day, and there'd be times where there was days missing, and I'd be a bit like, oh, well, now I feel a bit like I've not committed to this. But now I know, as I'm doing it, I can really keep track of it. And I know that I've done it 3 times a day. Like today, I know that I've done it 3 times a day because I'm in more of that habit as well with it. And I'm at home, which I think has helped back in England. So I've got a bit more of a routine in my own life, not doing shows in the morning and the night. So I think that was something that took me a while. So I think if you are starting the device, I think just maybe have a monthly way of just like getting into the routine of it, of doing it 3 times a day. And then hopefully it will just be like you're doing it all the time then. And then also just be looking out for them symptoms, because there has been a few times where I've had that feeling like I've got something stuck in my throat. And I have spoken to Iqoro on the Facebook group, which is really helpful. And that's apparently like something that can happen and it's completely fine. I actually had an endoscopy recently, and this was my first one in 2.5 years. And it was basically suggested to me by the surgeon who I'm sort of like talking to every 6 months, who was like, why don't we see how things are going? So it's not like hypothetical from Iqoro, and also just generally, and then we can get a sense of what options we want to go with. So I also did another test last year. You might have seen it as like a 24-hour test. And that basically, I think the results from that were just that I have bad acid reflux when I stopped taking my omeprazole, because both the endoscopy and this test, I had to stop taking my omeprazole for 7 days before. So what happened was, that was a great tester really. So last week when I had my endoscopy, I stopped taking my omeprazole and I was just using Iqoro. So unfortunately, my symptoms were still there. So like after 2 days of stopping taking the tablets, they immediately came back. I was talking to somebody though, and they were saying that if you dramatically do come off tablets though, straight away, like you'll probably get, even if like Iqoro has worked, you're probably going to get acid refluxes anyway. So it's probably a better way to just gradually come off the tablets to get a better sort of insight of whether it's working, which is what if you saw my last videos, which I'm wanting to do. So I was down to 1 tablet of omeprazole. last July-ish, August, when I did my last video, and I kept that on for most of the year. There was a time in November where I don't know what it was, maybe it was stress. I was getting acid reflux bad again. With my tablets of omeprazole, I don't have any symptoms at all. Like, I have nothing, which is great. I was like even taking one tablet a day now. I used to be on 4, came down to 1, and then, it came down to 2, and then with the help of Iqoro, came down to 1, which was great. And even though I don't know if it was a placebo or if it was actually doing something was working. And then I did have to go up for 2 for a little bit when them symptoms come back, which kind of delayed my aim of being at Christmas, going from completely off tablets or 1 every other day. So I'm now back on the 1 tablet a day, and I'm doing fine. It feels great. It feels like I'm not getting any acid reflux. I'm not changing anything necessarily in my life. So I feel great. I feel like I'm just getting on with my life, which is great. But I do have that niggle in the back of my mind of it would be great to come off it completely. So where I'm at is I would like to go to every other day, maybe in the next 6 months. And I think setting that aim of 6 months just gives the device a bit more time to settle in, because I've heard that people have different results from maybe 3 months. Some people, it takes about 8 months for it to properly work for them. For me, the Iqoro, I feel like it's doing something, but I've not had the result yet of coming off tablets completely. And it's hard to tell necessarily if it's working or not, because all I can go off is when I came off tablets that week, I did get acid reflux again. I got quite bad for the week and I couldn't wait to take my tablet. But then there is days where I forget to take my omeprazole tablet, like what happens quite frequently, and I'm fine. So I don't know, it's tricky, isn't it? Like, I don't know, like, if that's more of an indication of, like, maybe if I try it slowly come off it. So that's my aim, I think. It's my birthday in June. So I'd like to go to, with the help of Iqoro, to 1 every other day. And I think that would be a good test to, is Iqoro working? And then maybe the following 6 months, maybe a more reduction. And then I think that would give me, and then maybe if acid reflux came back, I'd be able to tell that, you know, maybe it's not working necessarily for me, but if it carries on, then great. Because I do think this could be really, it feels really positive from stories that I hear in the Facebook group and stories that I've heard, and it's a prescription now as well, and that gives me a bit of reassurance, the fact that, you know, the NHS validated this device. Like, this could be used. I don't know what it is in other countries, but in England, the health service have been like, this works, like we can prescribe this. So that made me feel a bit hopeful. Oh yes, a my endoscopy, I've got to say. So I've got the results here, they're a bit weird. So it says, well, not super weird. I've got a chat. It was basically like everything was fine, the guy. It's just, so someone was asking me about what is my hernia. So I've got I'll just read it out. 3 centimeter sliding hiatal hernia type 1. I need to research what this actually means. GE junction, 38 centimeters from incisors. Diagrammatic impression, 41 centimeters from the incisors. I have no idea what the incisors is. But it says, this is the thing I've not seen before. If anyone knows, please tell me. I would love to know. I've tried to get it on Google, but I didn't quite understand what it was saying. It was just a report. Moderate localized grade B esophagitis with moderate localized grade B esophagitis with multiple mucosal breaks measuring 5 millimeters or more, not continuous between folds, covering less than 75% of the circumference, showing edematous mucus in the geojunction. What is that? If anyone knows what that is, please let me know, because I have no idea. What is that? I have no idea. And I've tried to Google it. It's just like medical reports. But I don't know if it's something to do, if it says like, for example, I didn't take my tablets as recommended for a few days before. So like my acid reflux was really bad. So maybe like it would look really inflamed. Whereas if I had an endoscopy right now, this second, I think I don't know if it would have these same things. But as long as there's nothing bad. This is the whole thing I've been saying all the way through as well. Like, if I could just take tablets forever and there's no side effects from the tablets, and my hiatus hernia doesn't turn into something called Barrett's esophagus, which is what I want to avoid at all costs, great, fine. But it's just that, one, we don't know what's going to happen with the tablets, like long-term use. Like, if I'm taking it for what, 50, 60, 70, 80 years, like, what's the effects of that? And then also, and no one can really tell me, which is quite tricky. Everyone sort of has a different answer. Everyone I speak to has a different answer for that. And then also there's the question of, if my hiatus hernia changes in the future, and I don't really want it to, so I just want it fixed at the same time. So yeah, I still don't know. I feel like this update is more of a, things haven't dramatically changed since the last update, but I'm hopeful that in the next 6 months, there are going to be changes. I'm going to do a separate video talking about some tips to use it as well. Just because I think things, when I started using the video, I was using the device, that it took me a while to sort of get the positioning right and stuff like that, and the app and the Facebook group. So I might do that in a separate video. If anyone else is using the device, please tell me as well how you're getting on with it. I'm also doing a live stream with Iqoro on their Instagram on the 21st of March at 10 a.m. Just sort of talking about my experiences. It's not like a sponsored thing or anything. I'm just going to tell what my experiences are. So if you want to tune in and hear me, if you've got any questions as well, fire them to me beforehand, and maybe I could ask. So if it's something that I can't answer, I can ask the Iqoro team while we're there. But if you do have questions as well and you are using it, join the Facebook group, because when you purchase it, you can sort of enter your code and join that group, which is really helpful if you've got any questions going through. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. Not much to report, even though it's been such a long time. But I feel like I said, even though I've been taking it for so long, I think I've only been taking it effectively, as in position-wise, and also in the habit of 3 times a day, every day, for maybe 3 or 4 months. So I would say the next 6 months, I'm really going to see what's going on there. And hopefully then, by June, which is my birthday, I can play a little bit more with one every other day. Or even if it's like, firstly, one every take 2 and then have a day off. Take 2 and have a day off. I don't know. But I'm hopeful that this could work. And it's going to be different for everybody, isn't it, as well, whatever your situation is. So this is just my experience, but you might have a completely different experience, and it might just work after 3 months, and hurrah, whatever your symptoms have completely gone, just like some of the testimonials that I've heard. So that's where I'm at. As always, check out any of my music. I posted my music video, Electify, on my YouTube the other day. And I've got less crazy month, so I've got all these video ideas that I want to do for my YouTube, and I'm going to do them, and there's stuff I want to talk about as well, and I'm going to do it. Hope you're all well. Let me know how you are. Post it in the comments. Bye.